Lucille Ball's Dark Hollywood Secrets, the 7 actresses she called evil. What if the brightest star in television history carried secrets darker than anything she ever performed on screen? Everyone recognized Lucille Ball as a talented redhead who created Desilu Studios and transformed television through I Love Lucy. But behind the laughter and the legendary career, Lucy witnessed something the public never imagined. She saw the real faces behind Hollywood's most beloved masks. Before her passing, she made a confession that stunned those closest to her. She revealed 7 actresses she believed were genuinely evil, not in their film roles but in their actual lives. Some had worked alongside her. Others were Hollywood legends admired across the globe. Each one left Lucy with a darker experience than the one before. These weren't petty feuds or professional jealousies. These were deep-seated convictions about women who used their power to destroy others. And what Lucille revealed about them will forever change how you see classic Hollywood. Zsa Zsa Gabor, the woman Lucille Ball said was fake down to the bone. The instant Zsa Zsa Gabor's name was raised, Lucille didn't exhale heavily or show irritation. She chuckled. Lucille didn't find Zsa Zsa frightening. She didn't feel jealous of her achievements or her beauty. What she despised, absolutely despised, was the fakeness. Zsa Zsa wasn't merely theatrical or entitled. To Lucille, she was a constant act, a woman who used appeal as a weapon while treating individuals like throwaway objects. Lucille's repulsion started at a fundraising occasion in the late 1960s. Cameras clicked, and Zsa Zsa entered covered in expensive gems and animal fur, grinning like nobility. The instant the photographers exited, everything shifted. A helper kindly directed her toward a seating area. Zsa Zsa responded sharply, "I refuse to sit with common people." Lucille saw it from the other side of the space. That single statement was sufficient. But the absolute worst incident happened moments afterwards. A young helper, not even 20, unintentionally touched Zsa Zsa's coat. Rather than a basic correction, Zsa Zsa moved closer and said quietly, "Dear, you touch my coat one more time and I'll guarantee you never participate in an occasion in this city ever again." Lucille felt nauseated because Zsa Zsa said it with a pleasant expression, as if she was giving praise. Later that evening, Lucille expressed her feelings to a trusted coworker. Nothing about her is genuine, not the way she talks, not the sophistication, not even the nice behavior. To Lucille, false niceness was more terrible than direct cruelty. A dishonest person could make people trust them. A dishonest person could trick everyone. And Zsa Zsa remained unchanged. Even many years later, when she struck a Beverly Hills police officer in 1989, Lucille felt no surprise. She just remarked, "There's her true self showing." Lucille never forgave Zsa Zsa. And in Lucille's view, the most harmful type of evil is the type that grins while it betrays.
Bette Davis, the talent who cut people for sport. Everyone respected Bette Davis's abilities except Lucille Ball, who once wondered privately why she seems to enjoy causing people pain so much. With Bette, Lucille didn't require time to understand what disturbed her. The aggression was instant, severe, and impossible to forget. Their most terrible interaction took place at an entertainment industry meal during the mid-1960s. Lucille sat only a few tables distant when Bette started attacking a young server who had incorrectly delivered the wrong wine. The dining area went quiet as Davis hissed, "Can you even understand a written label, or is that impossible for you?" The young man kept apologizing, but Bette kept going, enjoying the public shame like a theatrical act. Lucille observed, shocked. This was intentional cruelty. Later that evening, Bette noticed Lucille and lifted her glass in false friendliness. Lucille didn't respond in kind. She had already witnessed sufficient evidence. She informed a friend later. Crawford was emotionally cold, but Bette took pleasure in creating the pain. To Lucille, that couldn't be excused. She valued exceptional talent constantly, but she hated anyone who used authority to destroy people attempting to make it in the same field. She once stated, "Being great should safeguard people, not destroy them." Bette and Lucille never became friends. They operated in the same location, the same time period, the same social groups, yet stayed away from each other like substances that can't mix. Even many years afterward, when Bette showed up in honor ceremonies or historical reviews, Lucille refused shared interviews. Ava Gardner, the beauty Lucille Ball called savage behind the skin. What type of person can make Lucille Ball claim she took pleasure in causing pain? That person was Ava Gardner. Ava possessed something more cutting, something Lucille thought was much more harmful: physical beauty combined with an appetite for meanness. Their conflict didn't start with confusion. It started with Ava attacking individuals she considered inferior. Lucille observed it firsthand one afternoon during the mid-1960s at an MGM costume room session. A young helper nervously gave Ava a recently pressed dress. A small mark from excessive heat had loosened a stitch. It was hardly visible, but Ava's response was explosive. Ava looked at the young woman, then spoke deliberately, "Don't try to repair it. You can't correct lack of skill with additional lack of skill." The young woman stood frozen, embarrassed. Lucille, positioned close by, felt her chest constrict. This wasn't typical celebrity-demanding behavior. This was finding satisfaction in controlling others. Afterward, she confided to someone, "Ava didn't just make errors, she created people to hurt." The conflict grew worse at an entertainment industry social event. Someone brought up Lucille's name during ordinary conversation. Ava smiled mockingly and announced loudly, "Oh, that finished comedian. She's still trying to work." People reacted with shock. Ava showed no concern. The cruelty was refined like a sharp tool. Lucille thought these attractive qualities made people overlook the corruption inside. She mentioned to a friend, if she hadn't been good-looking, nobody would have put up with her true personality. They never made peace. Ava's attractiveness became legendary over time. Lucille's memories of her turned into revulsion. And throughout her later years, whenever Ava's name showed up in a publication or television program, Lucille would repeat the same words quietly. People don't realize what she was really like behind that appearance.
Judy Garland, the beautiful chaos Lucille Ball could not forgive. Lucille Ball never softened her opinions about Judy Garland. Whenever Garland's name was mentioned, Lucille's face shifted, not showing anger, but showing a firm, tired letdown. Her problematic side came from a gentler place, but was much more harmful: disorder that consumed everyone near her. Lucille had known Judy from their time at MGM. She respected her singing voice, her spirit, her heartbreaking talent. But she also saw what audiences never witnessed: the damage Garland created each time she showed up late, unstable, or didn't show up at all. Lucille once shared with a friend, Judy was special, but the kind of special that destroyed everything around her. One incident never left her mind. A television director in the 1970s described to Lucille a filming session where Garland was expected at 5 in the morning. The entire team, technicians, lighting crew, camera operators, makeup artists, waited and kept waiting. Garland showed up at 2 in the afternoon, looking wonderful and sorry. She then performed brilliantly for 30 minutes that reminded everyone of her star quality. Then she announced she was too exhausted to go on and departed. The following morning, 3 crew workers were let go because the project had gone over its budget. Lucille's frustration didn't stem from envy or righteous judgment. It came from her own professional experiences. She had lasted in Hollywood by being dependable in an industry designed to throw women away. Seeing Garland squander her abilities while blameless people suffered the consequences seemed impossible to forgive. She stated it directly at a personal gathering. Natural ability doesn't justify causing harm, and with Judy, someone always ended up harmed. Lucille never directly challenged Garland, but she silently chose not to work with her anymore. When Garland passed away in 1969, Lucille grieved for the lost talent, but not for the chaos. To her, Judy wasn't deliberately evil, But the harm she created was genuine, profound, and couldn't be overlooked.
Joan Crawford, the Ice Queen who terrified Lucille Ball. Throughout her career, Lucille Ball encountered many challenging actresses, but nobody disturbed her quite like Joan Crawford. The public viewed Crawford as a stylish icon, representing classic Hollywood grace. However, Lucille witnessed an entirely different person. She saw a woman who concealed meanness beneath jewelry and flawless appearance. Crawford prompted Lucille to tell a friend in a low voice, "She only has her looks and style. Below the surface is pure coldness." The critical moment occurred in 1971 when Crawford made a guest appearance on Here's Lucy. Right from her arrival, Lucille noticed the atmosphere change, both in temperature and emotion. Crawford insisted the studio maintain exactly 68 degrees, positioned her chair at a particular angle, and required the lights adjusted to complement her facial features. Lucille didn't complain about those demands. What troubled her happened afterward. A young costume department worker, just 22 years old, gave Crawford a dress with an almost invisible crease. Crawford didn't simply point out the error, she verbally attacked the young woman. People nearby heard her say harshly, "You're completely worthless. Even cleaning bathrooms would be too good for you." The young woman ran away crying. Crawford insisted she be dismissed immediately. Lucille said no, and that refusal began her personal dislike. When filming began, Crawford instantly changed, becoming pleasant, friendly, and delightful. The second the camera stopped recording, she became rigid again, like a statue, changing settings. Lucille later whispered, "I've worked with store display dummies who seemed more alive." For her, this was a judgment. Crawford wasn't simply unfriendly. She was acting like a human being, not actually being one. Lucille thought that treating powerless individuals badly showed someone's real nature. And Crawford, in her opinion, completely failed that measure. Joan Crawford stayed in Lucille's mind until her last days. She was the woman Lucille viewed as genuinely, without question, evil.
The seventh name, the actress Lucille Ball refused to name publicly. For years, Hollywood insiders whispered about a seventh name on Lucille Ball's list. Unlike the others, this actress was never publicly identified by Lucy herself. Those closest to her knew the truth, but Lucy took the woman's identity to her grave, saying only, "Some things are too dangerous to speak aloud, even when they're true." According to Gary Morton, Lucille's second husband, this unnamed actress had done something that went beyond simple cruelty or unprofessional behavior. It involved a deliberate attempt to sabotage Lucy's career during her most vulnerable period in the early 1950s. The incident occurred during the height of the Red Scare, when Lucille herself faced accusations of communist sympathies due to a voter registration form she had signed years earlier at her grandfather's request. During this terrifying period, when Lucy's entire career hung by a thread, this particular actress allegedly spread additional rumors to network executives, attempting to ensure Lucy would never work in television again. She reportedly told multiple studio heads that Lucy was not only a communist sympathizer, but actively recruiting others to the cause. These were complete fabrications, but in 1953, such accusations could destroy lives permanently. What made this betrayal particularly devastating was that Lucy had previously helped this actress secure roles and had vouched for her character to producers. The backstabbing wasn't just professional rivalry, it was calculated destruction disguised as patriotic duty. Lucy's closest friends remember her saying, "I survived McCarthy's investigators, but I'll never survive knowing that someone I trusted tried to feed me to the wolves." The actress in question went on to have a successful career spanning several decades. She maintained her wholesome public image until her death, and Lucille Ball never once spoke her name in public, though those who knew Lucy well said they could see the pain flash across her face whenever this woman appeared on television or in magazine spreads. Lucy's silence wasn't mercy, it was a different kind of justice, refusing to give this woman the attention she craved, even through scandal. To Lucy's way of thinking, some people didn't deserve to be remembered at all, not even as villains.
The legacy of Lucy's truth. Lucille Ball's revelations about these 7 actresses weren't born from bitterness or jealousy. They emerged from decades of careful observation in an industry that often rewarded beautiful faces while ignoring ugly behavior. Lucy built her empire on treating people with basic human dignity, especially those without power or fame. When she witnessed others crushing the vulnerable, it violated everything she believed entertainment should represent. What makes Lucy's assessments particularly powerful is their consistency over time. These weren't hasty judgments made in anger. They were convictions formed through repeated interactions and patterns of behavior that revealed true character. The women Lucy called out shared common traits. They used beauty, talent, or fame as shields for cruelty, knowing Hollywood's worship of celebrity would protect them from consequences. Lucy's willingness to speak this truth, even privately, was an act of courage. She risked being labeled difficult or bitter, labels Hollywood reserves for women who refuse to stay silent about misconduct. Her testimony stands as a reminder that fame doesn't equal character, and that some of history's most celebrated figures were also its cruelest players. Now that you've learned the 7 names Lucille Ball disclosed, which one surprised you the most? Did Joan Crawford's two-faced behavior shock you? Or was it the mystery surrounding the unnamed 7th actress that left you wanting more? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might completely change how someone else sees these Hollywood legends. But here's the bigger question. Do you believe Hollywood still conceals individuals like this today? Has anything really changed, or have the players simply gotten better at hiding behind carefully managed public images? Share your honest opinion. If you're hungry for more untold stories from classic Hollywood, the dark secrets that never made it into official biographies, then subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that red subscribe button and smash the notification bell so you never miss when we expose the next shocking revelation. And here's something special. If this video reaches 1,000 likes, I'll release a follow-up revealing what other Hollywood legends like Jimmy Stewart, Katharine Hepburn, and Frank Sinatra witnessed involving these same actresses. Stories that confirm everything Lucy said and add even darker details. So like this video, share it with anyone who loves old Hollywood history, and let's uncover the reality behind the golden age of cinema together. The truth doesn't age, it just waits to be told. And you're now part of telling it.